In the dim light of a kingdom shrouded in secrets, a quiet assassin weaves his fate among lords and liars. Shadows twist in narrow alleys, concealing hidden betrayals. In a world ruled by trust and treachery, one man stands to uncover the deceit that binds the realm. A blade, a secret, a silent vow. These will shape a destiny in a land where lies rule the night. The truth lies hidden in the dark corners of power, waiting to be revealed. Every single step echoes with danger, and each shadow fiercely guards a secret that may change everything forever. Grayfen was a land cloaked in secrets. Narrow streets and dark alleys held whispers of past wrongs. In this quiet realm, the air felt heavy with hidden plans and silent oaths. Here, under the dim light of flickering torches, every stone and shadow had a story to tell. Tauren moved with quiet steps. He was known only in hushed tones among those who dared speak of hidden deeds. His face was partly hidden by a dark hood, and his eyes scanned every corner. Tauren was no ordinary man. His hands were steady and sure, trained to silence his foes with a single stroke. In Grayfen, trust was rare, and betrayal was a common friend. Each night, Tauren roamed the back streets of the city. He passed crumbling walls and faded banners that once told tales of glory. Now, they only reminded him of a time when honor meant more than survival. As he walked, he felt the weight of his past. A secret mission, one that might change the fate of Grayfen, rested on his shoulders. At the heart of the city lay the old market square. By day, it buzzed with life, but at night it became a stage for silent deals and hidden glances. Here, Tauren paused by a weathered stone arch. A soft glow from a nearby window revealed a small group of men huddled together. Their voices were low, but Tauren caught a few words. There was talk of a plan that would shake the very foundations of Grayfen. It was a plan built on lies and hidden truths. He listened carefully, his heart pounding in time with his careful steps. One name slipped through the murmurs, a name that sent a shiver down his spine. Aveline, a noble whose kindness was known to many, was also whispered of as a keeper of secrets. Many believed she had once been part of a trusted circle, yet now she was linked to schemes that could harm the realm. Tauren felt a tug of both duty and doubt. How could someone with a gentle name and a soft smile be involved in such dark plans? As the night deepened, Tauren slipped away. The cold air filled his lungs as he walked along the winding paths. The city around him was a maze of hidden rooms and closed doors. Each door might hide a friend or a foe, but Tauren trusted only his skills and the truth he sought. He recalled the words of an old friend who had warned him, "In Grayfen, no shadow is as it seems." The words echoed in his mind as he made his way to a quiet alley where he could gather his thoughts. In a small, dim room, Tauren spread out a worn map. The map, filled with marks and notes, was his guide to the hidden heart of the realm. Here were the safe paths and the dangerous traps laid by those who wished to keep secrets buried. His finger traced the route that would lead him closer to the whispered meeting of traitors and allies. The plan was simple yet dangerous: to find proof of the deceit that threatened Grayfen, and to stop it before it spread like wildfire. Every mark on that map told a story of a broken promise or a secret kept too long. Tauren paused at one point, a symbol drawn in haste that he had seen near the market square. This was where the whispers of betrayal began. His mind raced with thoughts of how a once proud realm had fallen into a web of lies. The people of Grayfen suffered silently, caught between the schemes of the powerful and the quiet courage of those like him. As the night wore on, Tauren felt the chill of loneliness mixed with a burning need for truth. He knew the road ahead was full of danger. The line between friend and foe blurred in the dark. Yet, he could not turn back. His mission was clear: to lift the veil on the web of deceit that threatened to unravel Grayfen. Each step he took brought him closer to a truth that might shatter the old ways of power. Outside, the wind whispered secrets through the narrow alleys. In that moment, Tauren promised himself that he would not let Grayfen fall into the hands of betrayal. He would uncover every hidden lie, no matter the cost. The dark corners of the realm were filled with silent watchers, but he was ready. In Grafen, the truth was buried deep, waiting for a man brave enough to bring it to light. Under a moonless sky, Tauren slipped away from the crowded alleys of Grafen, drawn by whispers of a hidden conspiracy. His path led him to the crumbling remains of an old watchtower on the outskirts of the city. There, in the dead of night, the faint murmur of voices reached his keen ears. Every step felt heavy, as if the weight of betrayal pressed down on him. In a secluded courtyard beneath the tower's broken archway, a group of cloaked figures gathered. Their faces were obscured by hoods, and their words were low and careful. Tauren crouched in the shadows, his eyes fixed on the group as they discussed plans that chilled him to the bone. The conversation centered on a secret pact, a betrayal so deep it threatened to tear Grafen apart. One of the speakers mentioned a name that reverberated in Tauren's memory, Aveline. Once known for her gentle demeanor, she was now implicated as a key player in this deadly scheme. The betrayers spoke of secret meetings and a plan to strike at the heart of the realm. Their words were measured and cold, as if loyalty had been stripped away long ago. Each sentence unveiled layers of deceit, hinting at a well-orchestrated plot that involved not just a handful of disloyal men, but figures of high standing. The silence in the air was heavy with the promise of treachery. Tauren felt a deep, burning anger as he realized the true cost of betrayal, the ruin of everything Grafen once stood for. Before the conspirators could move to their next phase, a pause in their conversation allowed Tauren a moment of clarity. He noted every detail, the slight tremor in her voice, the furtive glances exchanged among the group, and the urgency in their tones. This information was a puzzle he was determined to piece together. With every whispered word, the magnitude of the deception grew clearer. It was not merely a single act of treachery, but an entire network of lies woven through the fabric of the realm. For those who remain vigilant in the pursuit of truth, every hidden detail adds a new layer to this intricate mystery. Stay with the unfolding saga as the truth reveals itself, one secret at a time. After the meeting, the conspirators dispersed into the night, their figures dissolving into the inky darkness. Tauren's pulse pounded as he silently retraced his steps back toward Grafen. The journey was treacherous. Every dark corner seemed to hide more secrets and potential enemies. Along the winding paths, he encountered a wounded messenger, barely clinging to life. The messenger's eyes darted around nervously before he pressed a sealed letter into Tauren's hand and vanished into the gloom. The letter was hastily scrawled and bore a simple yet damning message. It detailed another secret meeting planned deep within the castle's labyrinthine dungeons, a gathering that would solidify the betrayal and set the stage for a coup against the heart of Grafen's power. The name of one of the high-ranking conspirators was mentioned, linking the betrayal to the upper echelons of society. With each word Tauren read, the stakes grew higher. The silent betrayal was no isolated incident. It was a calculated strike against the very soul of the realm. Clutching the letter, Tauren's mind raced. He recalled the faces he had seen in the market square and the silent nods exchanged in shadowed corridors. Trust, once abundant in Grafen, was now a luxury no one could afford. The treachery ran deep, infecting even those thought to be allies. Each revelation left Tauren with more questions than answers. Who among them had truly remained loyal? And how many more secrets lay hidden, waiting to ignite further chaos? Determined not to let Grafen succumb to this insidious plot, Tauren planned his next move. The letter was a key, a clue that could unlock the full extent of the conspiracy. His course was set toward the castle's ancient dungeons, where the conspirators planned their final act of betrayal. Every step forward was fraught with danger, but retreat was not an option. The silent betrayal was a call to action, a challenge that demanded he expose the hidden network of deceit, no matter the personal cost. With resolve hardening in his chest, Tauren vanished into the night, carrying with him the burden of truth and the weight of a kingdom on the brink of ruin. Each clue he gathered brought him closer to unveiling a web of treachery that threatened to change Grafen forever. Deep within the castle's stone corridors, where echoes of the past met the silence of hidden schemes, Tao Ren pressed onward. Each step along the narrow, damp passageway was deliberate, and the cold air carried the weight of unspoken secrets. The letter had led him here, to a forgotten door tucked away behind layers of ivy and dust. With steady hands, Tao Ren pushed open the heavy door to reveal a small, circular chamber. Alone, swinging torch cast uneven shadows across the room, illuminating a rough-hewn stone table at its center. Around the table sat a small group of cloaked figures, their faces obscured by hoods. Among them, one presence was unmistakable, Aveline. Her eyes, steady and hard, met his as if challenging him to step closer. Before Tao Ren could move, the leader of the group spoke in a low, measured tone. "You should not be here." His voice carried both warning and a trace of sadness. Tao Ren, keeping his hand close to his blade, replied calmly, "I seek the truth behind the lies that plague Grafen. Explain why you conspire against our realm." A tense silence settled over the room as the conspirators exchanged glances. Aveline's expression wavered between regret and defiance. In a voice soft yet resolute, she answered, "Bravery does not always bring clarity, Tao Ren. Some secrets must remain hidden to protect what we hold dear." Her words, though gentle, carried the weight of difficult choices made long ago. The air grew heavy with tension. One conspirator slammed his fist onto the stone table, the sharp sound echoing like a warning bell. "Our realm is crumbling," he declared. "The old order is failing, and only a bold step into darkness can forge a new future." His eyes burned with a fierce light, and his words cut through the murmur of the chamber. Tao Ren's pulse raced as he absorbed the implications of their plan. Grafen deserves leaders who cherish truth, not those who hide behind shadows, he said firmly, his voice steady despite the storm of questions swirling in his mind. Every word from the conspirators painted a picture of a realm steeped in sorrow and betrayal, a stark contrast to the honor it once held. Aveline's gaze softened for a brief moment, revealing the inner conflict she fought to contain. "Sometimes," she murmured, "the path to protect our people forces us into darkness. What we plan is not mere treachery. It is a chance to cleanse Grafen of its deepest wounds." Her admission, though veiled in caution, left a lingering doubt in the charged silence. At that moment, a subtle reminder echoed for those who follow this tale, a nudge to stay tuned as the layers of deception and sacrifice continue to unfold. Every detail matters, and each revelation brings us closer to understanding the true cost of change in Grafen. Gathering his resolve, Tao Ren stepped closer, his eyes never leaving those of his adversaries. "Your words do not erase the pain of betrayal," he stated, voice firm. "I must know whether you stand with me to save Grafen, or if you will let our realm slip into chaos." His challenge hung in the air like a gauntlet thrown at their feet. The leader of the conspirators leaned forward, his features now visible in the flickering light. "This is more than a conflict of pride or honor," he said quietly. "It is about the very soul of our land. What we propose is not the end but a rebirth, a chance to rid Grafen of old corruption so that something new, something stronger, may arise." His words reverberated in the small chamber, shaking the very air they breathed. For a moment, Aveline's gaze dropped as if burdened by a choice made long ago. Tao Ren saw in her eyes a trace of sorrow, the cost of a decision that split loyalties and left scars unseen. The confrontation had become a battle for the future of Grafen, a clash of light and dark, where every word and action would shape the destiny of a kingdom. With his resolve hardening, Tao Ren met the eyes of each conspirator. "I cannot and will not allow Grafen to be swallowed by deceit," he declared softly but firmly, his promise echoing through the stone walls. The chamber held its breath as the forces of loyalty and betrayal squared off in that silent moment. Every heartbeat, every glance, was a step toward a fate that was still unwritten. As tension mounted and the shadows shifted around them, The room became a stage for a showdown that would redefine the future of the realm. The chamber fell silent after Tauren's bold declaration. A heavy pause filled the space, thick with unspoken questions and the dread of what might come next. Outside, the wind picked up, and the first drops of rain began to patter against the ancient stones of the castle, each beat echoing like the steady pulse of Grafen itself. In the flickering glow of the torch, Aveline's face was etched with both sorrow and defiance. Her eyes, dark and troubled, met Tauren's with a look that carried regrets of old choices. The leader of the conspirators shifted in his seat and leaned back. "Our paths were set long before tonight," he murmured, his voice low and heavy with the burden of lost honor. His words hung in the air, each syllable a promise of change yet to come. Tauren stood firm, his resolve as solid as the ancient stones beneath him. He could feel the pull of destiny in his veins, a pull toward a truth that was both dangerous and necessary. Every step he had taken had led him to this very moment, and now there was no turning back. He inhaled deeply and said, "I cannot let Grafen fall further into deceit. Tell me if there's a way to mend our realm without sinking it into ruin." A shadow crossed the leader's face as he replied, "Restoration demands sacrifice. What we plan is not to destroy, but to rebuild. Yet the cost may be more than you are willing to pay." His words cut through the tension like a sharp blade, and the room seemed to tremble under the weight of their meaning. Before anyone could answer, a distant sound of clashing metal reached their ears, a harsh reminder that trouble was not confined to this chamber alone. The soft ring of swords and the pounding of armored feet echoed through the stone corridors. Tauren's heart quickened. "What is that?" he demanded, stepping toward the heavy wooden door as the noise grew louder. Aveline's eyes flicked toward the door, and her face went pale. "It seems our hidden plans are not the only ones staring tonight," she said quietly. The conspirators exchanged nervous glances. Outside, the clash of steel against stone intensified, a rhythm of impending conflict that made the air feel charged with dread. Suddenly, heavy footsteps rushed by in the corridor. Shadows danced along the walls until a cloaked figure in dark armor emerged into the room. His presence was unexpected, and silence fell as all eyes turned toward him. The stranger's face was hidden beneath a battered helm, yet his voice rang out clear and unwavering. "The time of reckoning is upon us," he declared, his tone measured but filled with an unyielding purpose. Tauren's grip tightened on his blade, every sense on alert. The stranger continued, "I bring a warning. Forces from the north, long hidden in the wilds, now stay. They seek to exploit our strife, turning our internal discord into an all-out war." His words struck the room like thunder. The conspirators' confident expressions gave way to uneasy uncertainty, and Aveline's eyes widened in fearful recognition. The sound of battle drew nearer, a harsh counterpoint to the soft murmurs within the chamber. Tauren's thoughts raced. The betrayal he had uncovered was only one piece of a larger puzzle, a web of conflict that threatened not only Grafen's honor but its very survival. With a heavy heart, he looked from one face to another, silently asking, "Can we fight a hidden enemy and an open threat at the same time?" The cloaked stranger stepped forward, his voice cutting through the mounting tension. "Your secret plots and disputes matter little when an enemy from beyond our borders stands ready to pounce. I urge you to set aside old grievances and unite. Only together can you face what is coming." His words were like a spark, igniting a mix of hope and fear among those gathered. Aveline's eyes met Tauren's once more, filled with a silent plea that held both hope and deep sorrow. The leader of the conspirators clenched his fists. "We stand at a crossroads," he announced, though his voice wavered. "We must choose. Do we continue on our path of hidden betrayals, or do we join forces against the looming storm?" Tauren felt the weight of that choice crush him. Every step had led him to this decisive moment, where the cost of inaction might be far greater than any sacrifice made in the name of truth. The sound of battle grew louder, and the castle itself seemed to shudder with the coming storm. In that charged silence, as echoes of conflict bled into the room and every soul felt the pull of destiny, Talleyrand took one final look at Aveline and the troubled faces around him. With his heart pounding and his mind a whirlwind of doubts and resolve, he stepped forward into the uncertain light beyond the chamber door. As the corridor beckoned with the clamor of war and the dark threat from the north loomed large, a single, soft whisper broke through the chaos, a promise that the night was far from over and that the true cost of secrets had yet to be revealed. What would become of Grafin when both betrayal and an unseen enemy converged? And could one man's quest for truth ever restore a realm torn apart by lies? The silence answered only with darkness as the story pressed on into an unknown future.